Hi, I'm Brenda Kyle, and I'm going to show you how to create the Thinlit dies. Circle card, it's called a floating window, and I'm going to show you with the butterflies, and I'll show you some with the owls with some baby booties, and we'll see what else we can put in there. I'll show you how to create this technique. Let's get started. This is the ordering sheet for the Thinlits, along with the order numbers, and this is also the card up close so you can see the floating window. I want you to see where the fishing line and how it holds that in place. And that is just a back piece. This information where you can request the full instructions on the technique. This is the contents of the Thinlits circle card, order number 133480, which is not available in the catalog. I'm using this circle frame to create the card and scallop circle to create the open window. This is the contents of the Thinlits label card, order number 133479. These are the new colors for 2013 through 2015, and of course we have Whisper White paper, and then there's Pistachio Pudding, Strawberry Slush, Crisp Cantaloupe, Baked Brown Sugar, and Coastal Cabana. I'm going to use the Berkeley Vanish fishing line, which is 6-pound test clear. Okay, you want to line up the 8.5 by 11 cardstock paper just under the 5.5 inches mark on the Stampin' trimmer. You just want to cut that paper. Now we're going to feed the cut cardstock through the Thinlit circle card frame, and you want to let the length rest on the top of the edge of the metal that's on the longest edge, or the longest side, furthest away. And then we're going to run that through the big shot. Once it is lined up on the platform, you want to go ahead and run it through the big shot, and then you can pop the card out. And I usually pop the card out right at the circle, and that way it comes out pretty easy. Now I'm just placing the Thinlit words and labels on the colors of cardstock that I picked, and I'm going to run those through the big shot. Now without the magnetic platform, I usually run the words through 3 to 6 times, and that makes the paper, makes the cutting go a lot better. The paper should stick to the metal once you're done. That way it cuts out correctly. And then once you've got it out, you can just pop each one out gently, especially with the words, because they'll rip if you push them out too hard. And you'll see that on this, I'm doing the 2 words at the same time, so you'll be able to see how they turn out at the end. This is what the XOXO, or one of those things, should look like. And as you can see, it pops right out. And here's what it looks like. Use the scallop circle, and we're going to center that inside the cut area on the portion of the card that's already been pre-cut, and then we're going to run that through the big shot, and just make sure it stays lined up inside the center. And once it's through, you take the paper and pop the circle out, and that'll give you the open window. And it pops out real easy. Pick out a complementary cardstock color, and we're going to use the circle portion of the Thinlit card frame to cut just the circle out. And you want to run it through the big shot, and then we're going to pop that out, and then we're going to do the second step. So now I can pop it out. just the same way, right at the circle portion. And then we're going to use that scallop circle, and we're going to center it inside the cut area, and then line it up on the big shot. We're going to run that through. And this is what's going to give you the open window. And this top one, this is the piece that will actually help hold the fishing line in place. So that's why you have this second circle. And once you've got that cut out, you just need to trim around the edges so that you've got the circle and not all the excess paper that's around it. So you're going to cut where the tabs are and just cut keep the circle uniform. This is called the Beautiful Rings in Boslet, order number 118138. And you want to use 2 or 3 different colors of cardstock and just run each one through the big shot so that you get enough butterflies cut out. And that's going to work in our little window. And I'm just running one color through right now. Once you've got it out, you just open it up and pop each butterfly out. Prepare to assemble the butterflies by laying them out alongside the fishing line. I want to show how it looks like when it's done. On the left side, I usually put the butterflies backwards, and then I apply the sticky tape to those. And on the right side, use different colors for the tops. Lay the card down, and then you're going to place the fishing line over the opening and hold it in place with one hand using your fingers. And then you're going to slip the bottom butterfly underneath the line and stick it to the fishing line. And then you can add the top butterfly while making sure that it still fits inside the window without hitting the edges. And once that sticky tape is off there, you can go ahead and start putting the next butterfly from the large to the medium, and then the small one. You're just going to repeat the steps until you have all 3 lined up on the fishing line and sealed around the fishing line. And it's okay to pick it up and press together to make sure that they're stuck together real good. And I always keep holding the line on the card just to make sure that it stays within the window. So this is a little bit of a challenging part to do when you're doing more than one item on a fishing line. Once they're all 3 on the fishing line, I go back and adjust each butterfly to make sure that the front and the back are lined up evenly, and also that they're evenly spaced where they're still going to fit within that opening of the window without hitting those edges. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I make sure it moves. And then I use the Crystal Effects real light thin layer around the scalloped edge, just around the right and the left side, not at the top and the bottom where the tabs are. Where the tabs are, I'm going to use the sticky tape. And it's best to actually use that sticky tape first. I take a piece and I cut it lengthwise in half to make it thin enough. And I just hold that fishing line real tight and place it over the top, doing the bottom one first, and then I do the top one, and then you can go back and add that crystal effects around each of the sides. That way the whole circle, the top piece, will seal together real nicely. Once that's set in place, then I go ahead and add that glue around the edge. You just want to be real careful to stay inside and try not to get it where it's going to touch the outer part of the card at all. The more it touches, the more likely it won't move when you open it. And now I can apply the coordinating open scallop circle on the top, and that's going to help seal that line in place. And once I push that down and have it in place, then you can go and cut the fishing line at the top and at the bottom so that it's not visible or sticking out anymore. Now I'm just making sure that it's going to move, so I push it pretty quickly after I put that glue and attach it, and it looks like it moves just fine. As you can see, it clears the edges without a problem. For the owl card, I just want to show you a close-up of what it's going to look like when it's done as a floating owl in the floating window. This one is the owl, and we're going to use the owl builder number 118074 punch, and then you need the owl stamp. You want to stamp 2 different colors, 2 different owls. You're going to put a long strip of sticky tape on the bottom owl and just do the same thing. We're going to repeat the steps. We're going to hold the line in place, slip the bottom owl underneath, and stick that to the line. And once that's stuck to the line, then you can attach the top owl and just ensure that it's staying within the window and not hitting the edges. Once you've got him attached, you can pick him up or move him how you want to so that you can make sure the front and the back are evenly placed together. You can see it moves just fine. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the sticky tape. I'm going to put that on the top and on the bottom where the tabs are. And then I'm going to, normally you would do the Crystal Effects glue at this time. Since you already know that step, we're just going to go ahead and attach the coordinating circle stamp, or I'm sorry, the coordinating circle on top, and that'll hold that owl in place. Now that it's in place, you just want to make sure that the card will move, and do the same thing again. Just cut the fishing line at the top and at the bottom so you can't see it sticking out. And I always just make sure that it moves. This is the close-up of the baby booties, and I used the Starburst, which is no longer here, but you could use the Pansy Punch, number 130698, and this is just the card itself, what it looks like. And I'm just showing you how I set it up, and putting the sticky strip across the back of one, make sure the booties are upright, and then the coordinating color for the scallop circle, and I'm just repeating the same steps again. I'm just going to hold the fishing line in place, and I'm going to slip the bottom set of the booties under there, and I'm again just making sure that the booties are in the right direction. And then I'm going to stick the line to the bottom one, and since it's dimensional, it moves a little bit more, so you just have to be careful when you hold it tightly in place. And then I'll add the top set of booties and seal it. And I'm just pushing it together and making sure that it moves and that it stays within the window without hitting the edges. And repeating the same steps again with the sticky tape, and just placing that where the tabs are. And again, I'm not going to do the crystal effects this time, but that's what you want to do each time to seal the circle completely shut. It's a little harder to keep the line straight and tight when you've got a bulkier center. but just get it as tight as you can get it. And that sticky tape helps really hold it in place where you want it. You can visit my blog, brendakyle.wordpress.com, and request the instructions and product order list. My daughter created one using the mini paper roses that are handcrafted and rhinestones stuck together on both sides of the fishing line. And then I tried some different buttons and did one on each side of the fishing line. And you can use any type of buttons. I also used the cupcake builder punch and put contrasting colors on it. And this is the current Christmas decorations that I put with the snowflake in the center of the window. Thank you.